afternoon, everyone. I'm Jean Camo, Executive Coach of LOWLINC. I'm really happy to see everybody here. We're super excited about today's speaker series. We have our Health and Wellness Committee members who are going to share with us about getting moving, and I'm super excited. I'm dressed for it. I'm ready to go. You know, it's hard in the winter when we're sitting around and it's like, boy, that blanket sure is warm, and that cup of tea sure is nice. But there's always things we can do, as we'll hear today, to move more than we are right, you know, on any given day. So thank you for being here. I just always love to see who's here. So if you're a LOWLINC member, can you raise your hand? All right, great. And LOWLINC volunteer? All right. Yeah, and some of you will raise your hand twice. So those of you who are both a member and a volunteer, raise your hand. Woohoo! All right. And then, do we have anybody here visiting from the community outside of LOWLINC who are?
Oh, me.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome.
I thought you were going to say outside of the lake.
No, not outside the lake. Yeah, but yeah, just not a member or volunteer of LOWLINC yet.
It's sounding better and better each time.
Good. So we are happy, like I said, to have everybody here. We have wonderful handouts, and thanks again to the Health and Wellness Committee for picking out some really great stuff to take home. We do have a little sign-up board over there for anybody who is visiting who would like to get on our mailing list or find out more about membership or volunteering. I guess I just want to, welcome you to keep looking at the website and make sure that you're checking out all the other exciting programs that we have coming. You may have heard a little bit about our goal to help us all think about what our backup plan is, our plan B. So for many of us, we just kind of go along and really hope for the best. We do some things and, hopefully it'll all turn out well. But sometimes things don't go the way we expect them to, or they don't go the way we plan. And so together we're trying to do some things that we can learn about together for prevention, hence the exercise and the getting fit, but also some planning. So we'll have somebody come and talk to us about estate planning, so financial and legal aspects of planning. We're also hoping to welcome Triad to talk to us about some of the safety devices they can offer, and also scam prevention. So how many people have been like, oh yeah, let me just push that button? Me. So it's so easy, they're getting so smart. But we have a wide range of topics coming up this year. If there's anything that you ever think of that would be really interesting to you, please let us know, because we're always looking for new ideas. But at this time, I want to turn it over to Margaret Driscoll. So Margaret is our new Health and Wellness Committee Chair, and she's going to introduce the topic today and then introduce our wonderful committee members who are going to share our fitness information with you today. So, okay, welcome, Margaret.
Well, this is so cool, it's impossible to be nervous because you're all my friends. So you know me and you know how I stumble, so we're good to go. When we started, first I wanted to ask, were any of you here for the speaker series last month on healthy eating? Yeah. That one was just super. And I thought that she had such wonderful information, and my favorite part of it was when she said you could have a grilled cheese sandwich for breakfast. And I thought, well, dang, I never thought of that. That's one of my favorite things to eat. So you never know what kind of little tidbits and treasures you're going to pick up when you come to an activity like this. Like Jean was saying, this is a really hard time of year to stay physically active. Our worlds get smaller, and I think that our motivation gets less because we have fewer choices. And I did a little bit of research, and the National Institute of Health did a study, and they said that as well as reducing the risk of chronic disease, being physically active can help seniors, that's us, to strengthen bone and muscle, improve their ability to do daily activities, prevent falls, reduce the risk of depression, control weight, and perhaps even increase life expectancy. So there really would be, I can't think of anything that would be negative, you know, about trying to get a little bit of more movement into your life. And then they also specifically talked about yoga, which is one of the topics we're going to touch on today. And they said that there is a positive relationship between regular engagement with yoga and healthy outcomes in terms of reducing blood pressure and fall-related injuries, enhancing mobility, and again, reducing depression and stress. So when the Health and Wellness Committee started bouncing this idea around, what we wanted to do was to try to come up with some home fitness ideas that we could introduce to you. And we came up with 4 topics. One is balance, one is strength training, one is walking, and the last one is yoga. So those are the topics we're going to be talking to you about here this afternoon. As far as I know, none of us are personal trainers, none of us are physical fitness professionals. We have a real passion, I think, for not only staying healthy in our own lives, but also sharing that information with our LOWLINC friends. So that's what we're here to do today. Our first speaker is going to be Emily Slunt, and she was the chair of this committee before she stepped down. And I have been trying to follow in her footsteps. They're big shoes to fill, and I do appreciate all of the support I get from the committee while I learn the ropes. So Emily, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm going to talk about balance.
And I'm sorry, the microphone is on if you want it, but you don't have to.
I'll talk in front of the mic while I can.
Yeah, it's not making
I'm
any
not going to
difference.
demonstrate too many exercises. I'll show you a few. Just to set the tone, the balance exercises can really help you with gaining lower body strength. And that's really the key to balance, is through your ankles, through your knees, and through your hips. So, in doing the exercises, you'll also increase your core stability. So there's some definite physical things that are going on with the exercise for balance. You'll hear me refer probably to stretching and strengthening as I'm talking about it, because it's all connected. But think about both your ankles. The exercises I'm going to talk about a little bit have to do with ankles, knees, and hips. And you're increasing your core stability at the same time, and your reaction muscles. It's really important, if you start to fall, that you be able to catch yourself. And that's a key too. That's something for you to think about. Do any of you know anybody that's fallen recently? Yeah, right. See, and that's definitely a problem, and the statistics are outstanding as far as, like 20 million falls in a year in the US and things like that. You cannot even conceive of that. But doing balancing exercises will help you reduce your chance of falling, and will also help your mobility and being able to do the things you want to continue doing. Because unfortunately we know as we age, our balance decreases a little bit. That just comes along with the aging process, so we have to work even harder than we did when we were younger to maintain that. And it's not just the balance, but it's the weakness of the muscles that relate to the balance. So we have to overcome anything that we're dealing with in the aging process, and we do that a lot in a lot of things. The risks for falls. What are some risks for falls? You know the friends that have fallen. What have they tripped over, or how have they lost their balance?
Throw rugs.
Throw rugs.
Cats.
What's that?
Cats.
Cats.
Cats, toys.
Oh yes, that's a big one. I hear a lot of that here at the lake.
They goes to sleep and you get up.
Yeah. Okay, numbness.
Getting in and out of the bathtub.
or shower.
What's that?
Getting in and out of the bathtub or shower.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Like stepping over.
stepping over, good point, I'm going to come to that later.
How about
when
a
we get to
curb?
the advantages of physical therapy. But yes, there's some things physiological that happen. You may have less sensitivity to the nerves or vascular changes. You know, anybody that's on the diabetic scale, you know, sometimes has to deal with those kinds of problems, and that they don't have the same feeling that they did when they were younger. Home hazards, the rugs, the footwear you may wear, you know, chronic illnesses too. You know, you think of somebody with Parkinson's disease or just arthritis. I mean, it throws you off in your balance.
I have MS, and falling is a part of my disease, and I live going, and it's more than a car payment because I go to physical therapy on strength and balance 2 to 3 times a week, and it's killing me, so let's see what.
Good, you can add to my talk then, that'll be great.
Is it healthy?
Thank you very much. But yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But the decrease in the strength in our legs is because of a decrease in activity too. We tend to maybe not be quite as active physically as we have been in the past. So even more important that we establish an exercise routine and get into that. And, you know, when you're with your provider, let them know if you're having any symptoms related to dizziness or vertigo or, you know, any of those kinds of things. You need to be aware that that can be, you know, a stimulant for having difficulty with balance. Same way with vision, hearing. And that's what I wanted to talk about was, you know, we're trying to be cautious and not have you go right out and start an exercise program. Talk to your physician, talk to your healthcare provider, whoever that may be, and let them know what your concerns are and possibly suggest that they refer you to physical therapy. You don't have to have a chronic illness to do that. You can just say, I'm just a little unsteady. It might be your blood pressure, I mean, but still, it's good to say, could you refer me to physical therapy, for example? It's covered under Medicare. You get lots of visits each year. Once a year, they cut it, you know, on an annual basis. And many insurance policies will cover physical therapy as well. So you can be referred there just for balance training. It doesn't have to be that you've broken your leg or your arm and you need to get it moving again. They do balance training and assessments and things like that, so that could help a lot. They supervise you carefully too. They'll do an assessment, then they'll do some exercises, and they'll be watching you and supervising you. They're not going to let you fall and get hurt. They'll put a belt on you and hold onto the belt. They'll look at your reaction time, whether you can recover from tripping or going off balance and can get back onto balance. That's a real key, that you don't go all the way to the floor because you lose your stability, that you can recover if you start to fall. Other coaching, for example, you know, people use personal fitness coaches, but they don't have the same background in their training. So if you have any deficits, it's better to go on the physical therapy route than doing some of the other things on your own, or be careful. Silver sneakers is another one, and the yoga we're going to talk about. All those things are very helpful, but sometimes it's good to get that expert opinion and get a prescription for following exercises at home and then going back and getting reevaluated through physical therapy. And just want to, and I want to emphasize that as much as I can. Your balance tests, when you go to physical therapy, maybe for the first time, they're going to do an assessment, and they may have you stepping over something. And that's, you know, they're watching how you do that and how stable you are, going up their stairs and down a few steps, holding on. They do your reaction time. They'll have you lean towards them and with a belt on you, and then you try to recover, you know, when they let go. If you don't recover, they'll catch you, but it's another way of assessing how good your balance is. So that's something you wouldn't be able to get on your own, but you could get it if you went to physical therapy and had some examples and, multitasking. The other thing they do, I said like vision effects and hearing effects. They do things like have you walk and be turning your head side to side when you're walking, so that they're looking to see whether you can, if that's a stimulant to make you fall, because you're moving another part of your body at the same time you're walking. And with vision, sometimes they'll tell you, okay, walk down here and count backwards by 3. So you're cognitive, you're trying to recall at the same time that you're walking. And so they're looking at stability in that way as well. And as I mentioned, recovering if you start to fall, if they have you leaning over and seeing how well you can come back. Some of the exercises I do want to mention, I want to go through a few of them. One thing that's really important is the sitting to standing. Can you get out of a chair without using your hands to press down? You want to be my model? No, I was going to say, you can be my model.
Oh, you want a model?
No, I think I can do this. So, anyway, you stand up. I'm not asking you to do that now, but you should be able to do this like 10 times as a good exercise.
If your chair is hot enough, if your chair is really low, it's hard.
Yeah. It is hard, and it's hard for us as we get older to be able to do that. But that's one of the best tests, is whether, if you have to push with your hands or you're on the chair itself or on the sides of the chair, then your legs aren't as strong as they need to be, and your knees aren't as strong, and your hips aren't as strong. So just remember those 3 areas, and if you're having trouble doing that, that would be a good reason to think about getting it corrected now. So another one that's is standing on one foot at a time for a certain amount of time. Now, I used to take yoga, so I never was very good at it, but I made sure I was next to the wall all the time. And now I make sure I'm next to a countertop, or even better is your sink, because then you have something you can hold on to if you need to. But you're trying to do that on one foot without holding on. And you do that for a series of usually about 10, and then you rest, you do another 10. But those standing on one foot is definitely a test of your balance. Other things that you might do would be to swing your foot back and forth, swing your leg and back and forth, as well as to the side. That has an effect on your hip muscles. Doesn't seem like it's doing much, but it's keeping those muscles loose and allowing you to have more balance and stability. Marching. If you're marching like this, that's good for your hip flexor. Again, it's simple, but you don't want to do it without having a countertop nearby or something you can grab onto, because you know as well as I do, it's too easy to lose your balance, so no matter how good you're feeling at the time. I said that there were 3 areas that were so important to keep in mind with balance. It's the ankles, the knees, and the hips. So with your ankles, you're going up and back, just on your tiptoes and back on your heels, and raising up your toes. And that strengthens your ankle muscles. Very simple. Again, you can hold on for that, but it gives you that stretching. Another one is, if you're on a stairway, would be going up and down on the stairway. So you're lowering your heel, and what that does is it stretches your calf muscle. And that's one of the things that we have difficulty with as we get older. The calf muscles get tightened up. So I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you ever do the exercises and you feel that restriction, you know that that's something that's prohibiting you from being as flexible as you may need to be, and how you have to work on it. Let's see. There's also stretching in regards to the piriformis muscle, and that's the muscle in back of the gluteus maximus in your hips. And you can do that in different ways. It depends on what the physician or your healthcare provider and the physical therapist recommends. You can do it lying down in a bed and crossing one knee over the other knee, or crossing your ankle over the knee, and then pulling on your knee, such as this. And you can feel that stretch. So you're pretty safe if you're doing it in bed. You're not going to fall on the bed unless you get right on the edge. But another way you can do it is sitting in a chair and be sitting and have that leg like that and be leaning forward.
It's very unladylike. I'm sorry, Laura.
Well, you have to wear your work clothes, you know. You don't wear your gown. So those are some of the exercises, in addition, of course, to walking heel to toe, you know, one leg right in front of the other.
Yeah.
So we've all done that, but I wouldn't do it without having something close by. Okay, as I said, if you go to a physical therapist or someone that's going to help you with your balance issues, they give individualized treatment. They practice, you get to practice, and you get to be supervised, and you gain confidence gradually. It may take a few weeks. It may take an indefinite amount of time to maintain. People like with MS or Parkinson's, they have to maintain all the time, and they know that they have to maintain. And it's hard work, but that's what you do, to keep doing the things that you want to do and be independent. So it's ongoing assessment. And just remember that movement and exercise is forever. We just can't write it off. It has to take a priority, and more so as we get older than when we're younger. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Joni McKinney is going to pick up where Emily left off, and she's going to talk to us about strength training. And you will hear overlaps in these different fitness programs, because they do naturally overlap. So you may be hearing some of the same information, maybe as it applies a little differently to a different part of your body or a different part of your movement process. So, Joni?
Hello, Emily's gotten us all warmed up with these wonderful, more passive kind of exercises. But we're going to move on now to getting strong and staying strong. As Emily mentioned, movement's forever, right? I mean, you can't stop moving. You simply cannot stop moving. No matter how small the steps might be that you're taking to keep moving, it's so important, because our muscles, this is not a great thing to think about, so don't perseverate on this, but we lose muscle mass as we get older. It's just a fact of life. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm not picking on him, but I'm just saying, he doesn't look like he did 30, 40 years ago, does he? But every day, he's in his own personal gym, and he's working out to the best of his current abilities. You're not going to look like you did when you were 20 or 30, or pick an age when you were your fittest. It simply is not going to happen. What we want to do is just keep moving. So, I'm going to repeat something that Emily said. Always consult with your healthcare practitioner before you begin any sort of an exercise or activity program. You may feel like you can conquer the world, but there might be some little stone in your shoe. You know what I mean? So speak with your healthcare practitioner. Don't just leave here and go run off to the fitness center.
Running?
But your muscle strength can make a huge difference in your quality of life. It may enable you to right yourself from falling. You might be able to still bend down and pick up your little dog. I mean little dog, not big dog, little dog. Or you might just be able to go out walking through the park. I mean, that can be a joy, especially in springtime, right? So to keep your muscles strong and to keep your balance and prevent falls and fall-related injuries, we're just going to go through some very basic kind of things. You are less likely to fall when your leg and your hip muscles are strong, right? We're not going to talk a lot about core strength and get into all that. We're not going to get down and plank or anything like that. We're going to talk about your basic muscle groups that help you stay upright, help you to stay strong. So most people would agree that an exercise buddy makes it more fun and may keep you motivated when you're first beginning an exercise program. Even if your exercise buddy is one of these people who's leading exercises on TV, you know so-and-so is available at this time, or you just pull them up on a streaming service, and you have your personal exercise buddy. And that can help. It's even nicer to have maybe a LOWLINC pal. That would be great. But if you can, try to find an exercise buddy. It'll help keep you engaged. Lifting weights. Okay, we're not talking about barbells and all that kind of mess. We're not talking about that. And in the beginning, you may not be able to even lift a bottle of water up over your head or in back or to the side, or however it is you want to lift a weight. But you can start by just moving your muscles. Just, simple little things. Make circles. You can make circles and make them bigger and bigger. Your shoulders love that. Only if you've not had a recent shoulder injury. Again, don't do any of this stuff until you speak with your healthcare practitioner. Always stay safe. Err on the side of safety, always. So if you get the okay and you can lift small weights, start small. A can of soup, a bottle of water, a 1 pound weight. You're not trying to train for the Summer Olympics. You're just trying to keep your muscles moving, keep them warm. Keep them as active and engaged as they can be where you are in life. That's the important thing. This isn't a competition. It's you, it's your body trying to stay as healthy as possible. That's what this is all about. So if you're cleared by your health practitioner to use weights, if you're successful at one weight, at a 1 pound weight, don't jump to a 5 pound weight. Make sure that you're always increasing your exercise regimen gradually. Don't be in a hurry. What's the rush, right? What is the rush? There is none. We're not training for anything special except to be more capable in our own homes, right? That's what we want to do. And if you're able to use weights and you're ready for resistance, your healthcare practitioner might clear you to use resistance bands. We've all seen those big, thick, elastic bands, and they come in different colors depending on the tensile strength. There's the yellow, the red, the green, the blue. Amazon had one that had 10 different colors, and I thought, that's too many colors, So start where your health practitioner says it's safe. Emily mentioned that your practitioner might send you to a physical therapist. They're amazing. My hat's off to them. They have so many little tricks and so many little tools to help you either maintain your strength and flexibility or help you to get stronger and more flexible. So don't think that it's a step backward if your physician or practitioner says, don't start this until you go to physical therapy. That's really a huge thank you very much, dear provider. That's a great idea. They know a lot. And they have cool tools too. Okay, so once you get approved to do some of these strengthening exercises or resistance exercises, don't overdo it. Give yourself a break day between exercises. So for instance, if you're going to do your upper body exercises, do them on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're going to do your lower body, pick alternate days then from your upper body. If you're feeling like you're really something, and you can do upper and lower body in the same day, make sure you have a rest day in between. Or do your stretching, do your yoga, do some other activity. Come walking with us on Friday, something else in between. But don't do the same thing every single day. Your muscles need to rest, they need a break. So what happens if you have to take a break between your exercising program? Maybe you have a recovery from an injury, or you're sick. I mean, there's lots of respiratory stuff going on, and you're not going to be doing all that exercising when you don't feel up to it. So what you need to do is go back gradually into your routine. Go very gradually back. Don't expect to start where you were at. That's not going to happen. You're going to be very disappointed and discouraged. But get back in touch with your exercise pal and start slowly. Maybe start where you started when you first began, just to build up your muscles. And they'll be like, oh yeah, we remember this, we can do this, and gradually work up to where you were. You'll gain nothing by just jumping in. Something that sounds really simple, but people forget to do when they exercise: breathe. Don't hold your breath. Don't go. Breathe. Your muscles love oxygen. You need to be breathing and reoxygenate the whole time you're doing your exercises. So that's something very simple, but breathe. Okay, if you catch yourself holding your breath at first, just take a deep breath and just keep on going. Breathing's important, right? Yes.
That was an issue of mine, and I just want to say the way they got me to overcome that, because you'll find most of us do hold our breath if we're pulling or pushing or whatever, and is to always keep a count. You know, if you're supposed to hold it for 3 and do it 5 times, do 1, 2, 3, and say it out loud, because you'll find you have no choice but to breathe if you're counting out loud. So.
Thank you, Denise. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Water is the other thing, of course.
Yeah.
Water.
Water, that's right, stay hydrated. Yes, Elizabeth, that is so important, yeah. Yeah, you gain nothing by getting dehydrated. Your muscles really don't like that either. And some folks take medications, and they're diuretics or they're medications that make you lose fluid anyway. You need to hydrate. Even if you're not working out, if you're not breaking a sweat, it doesn't mean you don't need to hydrate. You still need to hydrate. As we get older, we don't tend to perspire as much. So you're still losing fluid through your skin. You need to, that's right. Doug, thank you for hydrating.
Can I pass any out to anybody? I'm right here, I can pass them out.
Perfect, yeah, stay hydrated. Okay, I could go on and on because I love this. I love the whole movement. I love what it does for all of us, especially as we get older. But I'm going to leave you with a message from a Kaiser Permanente ad you may remember from a decade ago or so. The narrator said, "A body in motion stays in motion." And think about that. That's really important for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, one of the perks of being the Health and Wellness Committee Chair is I got to pick my topic. So I'm going to talk about walking. It is one of my most favorite things. I really do love it. When I don't walk, I can really feel it, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. So I think that one of the reasons I like it so much is it's easy. Okay, I didn't have to learn any skills. I had been doing it for a while, fairly successful. It doesn't take any equipment, okay, so you don't need to run out to the store to purchase anything. You just have to start walking. I think we all might walk a little slower now than we did 20 years ago. Some of us might use some assistive devices, but we can still walk, and we're very lucky for that. And even when we have the misfortune of perhaps being wheelchair bound and not being able to walk, there are programs that will allow you to walk in a seated position, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. I wanted to touch base on all the different ways that walking helps you. When I started doing research for this presentation, I really was quite floored at all of the different benefits that you could gain simply by taking a walk. And when I was doing my research, I was relying on the Center for Disease Control, the National Institute of Health, and the National Institute on Aging, so I feel pretty comfortable with the material that they shared with me. The first one is the one that I think our brains go to first, is you burn calories, okay? And by burning your calories, you're going to hopefully maintain the weight that you want to maintain. And the number of calories that you burn are not only dependent on how fast you walk. You don't have to be a speed walker to burn calories. You're going to burn calories when you walk, period. And the terrain can make a difference, and the length of time that you walk can also be a benefit. Walking strengthens your heart. It will decrease your resting heart rate, which is healthy for you. It lowers your blood pressure. It deals with your bad cholesterol. It will also make your heart work more efficiently. The Cleveland Clinic indicated that walking at least 30 minutes a day can reduce your risk for coronary heart disease by about 19%. And again, all you're doing is stepping out your door and going for a walk. It will lower your blood sugar. Again, the Cleveland Clinic did a study in November of 2023, and they said that even a short walk can have positive effects on lowering your blood sugar, and walking after you eat can specifically benefit your blood sugar. I found this really interesting because when I was growing up, my granddad always took what he called an evening constitutional. Have you ever heard of that phrase before? Yeah. And that's exactly what he was doing. After his meal, we would walk around the block, and that's exactly what he was doing. It will ease your joint pain. Even if you have arthritis, walking can be a benefit to you because it is a low-impact exercise. And again, you can walk slowly. Okay, you can walk if hard surfaces such as being outside are a challenge for you. Many gyms will have walking areas that have a lap that may be padded for you, which might make it a little bit easier for you. It will boost your immune system. They said that folks that walked about 5 days a week had 43% fewer respiratory symptoms and 26% less colds. I don't know how that one works, but I like the numbers. It will automatically boost your energy level. Again, you're increasing your blood flow. Your heart is working more efficiently. And it also increases levels of hormones. I was really going to try to say the words, but I know I'm going to get all tangled up in them, so we're just going to go with it increases your hormones, okay, and that's a benefit for you. Exercise has a marvelous effect on your mental outlook and just how you generally feel on a day-to-day basis. And I think that when you can reduce your depression by just a little bit, reduce your tiredness, you're just automatically going to feel better. And in my experience, for me, it's almost like a snowball. You know, once you get going, you can just feel better and better. Especially if you get into the habit of doing it on a regular basis. Now, I found that when I reached a point in my life where I really did want to focus on this instead of like, you know, a hit or miss activity, I found that once I got the routine down, it was something that I actually looked forward to. And it wasn't something that I was dreading. Oh, I have to go do this. You know, I really did start to enjoy it, and I still do. I have a list of safety tips I wanted to share with you. The one that we're all emphasizing very strongly is get clearance from your medical provider before you start any kind of physical activity. Just talk to them and say, I'd like to start doing this, or I'd like to start doing something. What do you suggest? And then go from there. If you are at any time that you're getting ready to walk, make sure that you do some stretching before you start. Again, kind of let your muscles know that you're getting ready to ask them to do something. And they'll be happier, and so will you. If you're walking outside, make sure that you wear bright clothing so that you are noticed. Especially here at the lake, if you're not using one of the lovely paths in the park and you're walking on the roads are a bit narrow and there are no sidewalks. And even though the posted speed limit is slow, I think that you want to be sure that you are seen. Try to walk against the traffic. Be very aware of your terrain. Again, this can be a fall hazard. You know, if you're walking on a road and you hit a rough spot and you're not ready for it, you can stumble and fall. If you're walking, I don't know if you like to walk trails or not. I do. Roots can be deadly, so please be very careful. If you're wearing headphones, keep the volume low enough to where you can hear what's going on around you, so that you can hear a vehicle coming, and even more important than that, you can hear kids, because they may not be aware of you. And if they're on a bicycle or something, you know, you want to be aware that they're around you if you can be. If you have a bit of weakness, or you just want to assure that you have a bit more stability, get some walking poles. They're a hiker's best friend. I've had mine for years and years, and they're very lightweight and they're very easy to carry with you because they generally collapse. You know, and again, you would have something that would give you a little bit more stability. Drink plenty of water before and after. Wear sunscreen, even if it's cloudy. If you're walking, especially if you're walking indoors, doing a fitness program that you have found on a streaming, be sure of what's around you, okay? Because they're going to be asking you to move, and you might be going backwards and forwards and sideways, you know, and just make sure that the dog, like you said, like the dog didn't decide to take a nap right behind you. That could be a falling hazard for you. So just generally be safe, you know, be aware, and listen to your body. Your body will tell you when to slow down. Your body will tell you when you have walked enough. So just pay a lot of attention to it. Trying to get more steps in the day. You know, if you don't have the opportunity to go for a walk, you know, the weather's bad, you know, or you just don't feel like going outside. There are things that you can do indoors without even using a streaming program that can help you get more steps in. You can, if you have stairs in your home and you're able to, you can go up and down the stairs. and get a little bit more walking in. You can walk when you're on the phone, especially now, because we're not attached to cords anymore. So you can walk while you're on the phone. You can walk in your kitchen while you're brewing your coffee, something along those lines. You can walk in place during a TV commercial. You can force yourself to take more steps when you're doing a chore, such as folding the laundry or taking things in and out of the washing machine, taking them back and forth from the washing machine to the table. You may feel kind of silly, but you'll get in more steps if you do that. And if you're at the grocery store and you can stand it, or if you're at Walmart and you can stand it, walk the aisles, and that'll be very beneficial for you too. I'm trying to think, just give me 1 second, that I didn't miss anything.
The problem with doing it at the grocery store is I do that, but I see things.
Oh, that can be a drawback. And you also have to learn to go down the aisles that don't have the good stuff. The laundry detergent aisles are a good one. Candy and chips, not such a good choice. When you're warming up, take as long as you need. Okay, again, as some of my friends said earlier, it's not a race, it's not a competition. So. Something else you can consider using is there are a lot of fitness trackers out there. I don't use one, but I have walkers that are really rely on them, and they like them, and they will keep track of your steps. And I think some of them are fancy enough to where they keep track of your respiration and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that is something else to consider too. We're going to talk a little bit about some websites that you might be interested in streaming. They are on the list there. There are some very nice walking websites available. Silver Sneakers has one. Okay.
Do we have Silver Sneakers within?
You can access it through your TV, through
I
YouTube.
have it on TV.
Yeah, I think.
But is there a meeting place here in Lincoln?
Oh no, the Silver Sneakers that I was referring to at this point, and I apologize for not being clearer, are the ones that you can stream and do at home. And I think that they're related. I think Silver Sneakers is generally related to your Medicare insurance. So depending on, I know I've had it through 2 different plans. ART has some wonderful website programs also. NIH does, the National Institute on Aging does. I just caution you that when you go on to the computer and you're Googling this stuff to search for it, make sure that you are picking something reputable, something you recognize. Do a little bit of research before you jump into that program. You don't want, anybody can make a YouTube video. And so you want to make sure that you are working with a reputable source. And there are many out there that can help you with that. And I think,
Margaret,
I'm sorry?
can I put in a plug for the Friday walking group?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that. Yeah, we have a walking group here at LOWLINC. And I think, Jenny, if I'm correct, I think you were actually started initially with walking at Walmart? No? Oh, okay.
That was Janet Irvin.
Huh?
Janet Irvin.
Oh, okay, but this was pre-COVID. We started a walking program where we were walking at Walmart. And I think, if my memory is even close, I think it barely got off the ground before COVID struck. And then we had, obviously had to put the kibosh on it. And then after COVID faded and we started talking again, we came up with the LOWLINC walking program, which is what we have been doing now for over 2 years. We meet here at the community center on Fridays at 10:30. We have the gym available to us, so we can do laps in the gym, and if the weather is good, we walk on the Sweet Rider path. We have folks who walk slowly. We have folks that we can't keep up with. People walk at their own pace. We try very hard to have a good ratio between members and volunteers so that no one is walking alone, okay, and no one is at risk. I'm very proud to share with you that between LOWLINC and the Lake of the Woods Woodcrafters, we were able to put up benches on Sweetbriar Path. So now, when you walk the path, you also can take a break and sit, and we sit and chat. We walked last Friday, and it was one of those glorious mornings when the sun came out and it was warm. And I had walkers, I won't mention their names, but they sat on the bench and they put their faces up to the sun, and I'm not sure when they went home that day. It was just lovely to be able to be outside. The other option you have with LOWLINC is that they do host walk and shop trips to the mall. That's also another great opportunity to walk. Is at a mall, and they throw in a lunch, so you get to burn your calories and then reward yourself with a tasty lunch. So that's another option. So I recommend that you take a walk around the block, take a walk around your yard, come join us.
I think one of the benefits of the walking group is the social side, the chatting side. That's where you end up walking further than you might otherwise because you're so involved in the conversation or visiting with the person you're walking with that you don't notice that you've done
That's
an
a great
extra walk.
point. Yeah, and we also set up chairs in the gym. And so we take breaks whenever we want, and we sit and chat. And then at the end of, sometime throughout the walk, we're all in there talking and having some companionship. And we've become a very close group, and we love it when new people join us, and we really love it when they come back a second time. So please consider it. We would love to have you. And I'm going to turn it over to Ginny. She is going to talk about yoga, specifically chair yoga, and then we'll wrap it up. You ready, Ginny?
This will be very Yes, that looks just like Well, thank you to Emily and Joni and Margaret. You've covered just about everything I was going to say.
That's probably what's going last.
But it is difficult to narrow our topics down to 5 or 10 minutes. Given the chance and the time, we could go on and on and on. So it's good that we've given ourselves a time frame. So yoga is for everyone. Doesn't matter how old you are. I, for one, will never be a yoga pretzel, no matter how often I practice. That's why it's called practice. But to stretch as best we can is what we should be focused on. We're all different. There are modifications for individual needs. And there are many forms of yoga. We've got hot yoga, restorative yoga, vinyasa, hatha, and today we're doing chair. And think of chair yoga as a safer way to start a practice and mindfully stretch. Take each pose slowly, mindfully focus on getting into a pose versus just quickly getting into it. Too fast can do more harm than good. So we do need to warm up, even though you're sitting. Do some warm-up moves. No pain, no gain is not the mantra that we want to use. So maybe 5 minutes. Plus, you don't have to get down, and you don't have to try to get back up from the floor. You only need a chair. You don't need a mat. You don't need straps. You can do it in your pajamas.
It's my kind of exercise.
You don't have to comb your hair. You don't have to go anywhere. So very few excuses. So in a straight back chair is preferred without the armrests. To sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, and I'll show you in a minute. If you can take your shoes off, bare feet, so that all four corners of your feet are on the ground, so you can feel the ground. You can place a towel or a mat or a blanket under your feet if they don't touch the ground. But to spread your toes, move them. Shoes are fine if that's better for you. Try turning off the TV or the radio. So what I'll do is, if you all sit up straight, shoes on. You know, take your shoes off. Just try to sit up straight, feel grounded, and just take a breath. And just close your eyes or soften them. Try to settle your mind, relax your facial muscles, your shoulders, get centered. And there is a bit of meditation just by doing that. It comes into play. So what we'll do is take a few deep breaths in and then slowly out. Just in and out. So close your eyes and take a breath in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4.
In through your nose and out through your mouth, or both the mouth?
In through your nose and out through your nose. In through your nose, 3, 4, and out through your nose. 2, 3, 4. And one more time. In through your nose, 2, 3, 4, and out through your nose. 2, 3, 4. You can kind of just feel yourself get settled in. You just feel your chest rise and fall. And counting helps you stay focused. It keeps your mind from wandering, which more than likely it will. So you just kind of bring it back, concentrate on the breathing. It's hard to count and wander. You may find a mantra of your choice to help keep you centered. Take this time for yourself. Don't rush the moves. Again, pay attention to the positions and getting into them. The moving of the limbs into position is just as important as the actual pose. So yoga is a form of meditation. Stillness, meditation comes in many ways. And there is, as we said earlier, there's some science showing that meditation can improve our immune system, help treat various inflammatory conditions, pain control, flexibility, depression, and sleep. I think so many of us spend so much time hunched over our phones, computers, books. So even mindfully just stretching, even in your comfortable chair, just stretching your neck, moving your fingers, your toes. It's a start. And as already mentioned, check with your doctor before starting any practice. And I have found when I was kind of looking for chair yoga information, YouTube has many different levels for chair yoga. And AARP, the Silver Sneakers, and you can just Google chair yoga for seniors, and there's even different levels of that. Some are using the chair but you're standing or just sitting. And I took a chair yoga class years ago thinking this is a piece of cake. And the next day, because I really was, yeah, I really felt it the next day. So don't be surprised if you feel it, even though you're thinking, oh, I'm just in a chair. But thank you.
Excellent. I just want to, does anybody have any questions?
I have a little tidbit. If you do fall and you have trouble getting up, you can crawl over to a chair and turn it over so that, and so Just turn it over, and then you've got this, you've got this to hang on to help you get yourself up on your feet. So, chairs do other
They do.
things.
Good idea.
That's a very good idea.
I saw it in a video.
Ah, okay, wonderful. Okay.
Margaret,
Yeah.
I have a friend that, her husband doesn't get around very well, but, so he took a fall, and she doesn't get around very well. She tried to help him. So now they had both, he fell on top of her, and he was a very big man. And of course, they were totally embarrassed to even let the kids know that this happened. But they ended up like crawling to the stairs so that they could eventually get up. But it's like, the kids were so angry.
It is, it's very, that's, for me, the hardest thing is I don't have happy knees anymore.
Yeah.
And if I make the mistake of getting down without thinking about it, and then I'm looking around going, how far do I have to go before I can find something to latch onto to get up? So I think staying upright is a really good goal, so that you don't have to deal with that. But if you do fall, to have a plan, So that must have been awful for them.
Yeah, she didn't tell me about it for quite a while.
I can see why. Yeah.
I have a friend that something similar happened to her. They had a wooden playpen, and the husband was picking up the little boy that was in there, the grandson, and he thought, oh no, he felt like he was, so he put the grandson down.
Oh, that's good.
And she came over and grabbed him because she thought he was going to fall, and all of them were in the playpen. And the babies, he was big enough.
I'm having a party, right?
I didn't say anything.
That's precious.
Never leave the kid alone with him again.
Yeah. I guess they got relieved of their babysitting duties
Yeah,
for a while.
and the playpen.
And the playpen, for sure. Oh, that's funny, yeah. So I wanted to touch base with, go ahead, Ed, I'm sorry.
Just wondering where are all the other guys?
Yeah. We keep trying to bring them in.
I walk with Margaret every Friday, and with Vicki, and now Denise, and I feel like I'm gaining quite a bit
Yeah.
from walking.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
I'm sure all these other exercises will benefit me as well as all you gals.
Oh, wonderful.
I hope.
Thank you, yeah. The one thing I noticed with the walking group, and not you specifically, Ed, but we have folks that when they first started were very, very limited in their walking, but they stuck with us and they came every week and they're just trucking along, So you really do gain a lot by starting slowly and sticking with it, and don't set unreasonable goals. Just come and walk, So
Even if you can't walk, I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. Go ahead.
Even if you can't do the walking, they do sell, and I'm not really promoting this other than if you find yourself in a position where walking just isn't going to happen for you this week. They do sell machines now that you can sit and you still have a little bit of resistance on your feet. If you're just watching TV, even if you have to sit at your desk working, it just keeps the blood moving. And you look at me and I'm a hard one to be like, oh, I want to be like her, But I can tell you it does work. Although it doesn't look like it's working, it does. I can feel the blood moving in my body.
That's wonderful information to share. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I did see with Silver Sneakers has a great cardio program, and it has so much walking in it. And again, it's all indoors. But they also have a seated walking program. That is one of their streaming options. So there's a lot you can do even when you can't stand up and walk. You can mimic walking and get a lot of benefits that way too. And I think you can do the same thing with every fitness program that we kind of touched base on today. There's lots of workarounds to do them. So I think that's wonderful. I wanted to share with you what our program is going to be next month. I think it's a great segue from this one, is we're going to have Laura Coville come speak to us on body mechanics and the safest and best way to do some of the things that you folks mentioned earlier before we started chatting. You know, what's the best way to get in and out of a chair? What's the best way to get in and out of a tub shower? What's the best way to get in and out of a car? How do I lift the groceries out of the trunk without straining my back? So I hope you'll be able to join us for that session. I want to say the date's March 7th. It's always the first Thursday of the month. I think that's the correct date. And, if somebody has a phone calendar, they can verify it for me. I think it's March 7th. Okay. And again, if you have any topics that you would like us to search for a presenter or cover with the speaker series, please let us know. Okay, we're always looking for topics and we're always looking for possible speakers. So let us know. And thank you all so much for coming. I hope you had a good time and picked up a few tips. So thank you.